From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Andrea Lutz. We begin this afternoon with avalanche warnings and conditions in northwest Montana, prompting avalanche experts to issue warnings of their own for backcountry enthusiasts. These warnings are in effect for the Flathead, Whitefish, and Swan Mountain ranges. Those at the Flathead Avalanche Center say moderate to strong winds along with new snow and changing snow levels prompted them to issue the warning. And the Avalanche Center recorded 10 avalanches in the month of February. That's more than double the average number for a normal February. And also snowboarders and snow bikers triggering 3 different avalanches in the Flathead, Whitefish, and Swan ranges this last weekend. Luckily, nobody was hurt.
People either triggered slides remotely that were pretty big and weren't caught. They were on a slab when it released and managed to ride off. Or in the case of the snow biker, they were caught, carried, and buried mostly to their neck.
And those venturing into the backcountry always check the avalanche conditions each morning for the daily forecast. They are updated every single day. Well, we are going to check in on the weather conditions with our meteorologist, Miller Robson. Things are active out there.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and just reinforce what you said there. Let's take a look. That backcountry avalanche warning in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Avalanche danger is very high in portions of northwest and western Montana, even over into Idaho as well. This could be human triggered. Could be naturally triggered. So those very dangerous avalanche conditions do exist. Just FYI if you're heading toward that area. As we take a look at the satellite radar, you can see we got a lot of clouds out there, up there in the northwest corner of the state, and we've got the snow falling as well. Now we are warmer than normal, or we've been normal, but we're trying to cool back now. What's happening, Andrea, is we've got another cold front that's pushing through the area. So not only are we getting cooler, but we've got those strong winds still whipping out there. Still have high wind warnings in effect for portions of the area with gusts up to 60 miles an hour. We'll take a look at that and why Wednesday should be a pretty nice day. Details coming up.
All right, Miller, thanks so much for that. Oh, for the first time, Congress will hear from former U.S. Capitol security officials about the January 6 riots. A hearing is scheduled in front of 2 Senate committees. 3 of the 4 people who will testify immediately resigned after the attack, including the head of Capitol Police. Lawmakers are trying to figure out the unknowns of what happened before and during the assault, and they're expected to aggressively question the former officials about what went wrong. President Joe Biden's nominee for Interior Secretary Deb Haaland will face her confirmation hearing, and both Montana Senator Steve Daines and Wyoming Senator John Barrasso serve on that committee, and they will vote on her nomination. Daines hasn't shown support in the past. He says Haaland supports several radical issues that would hurt Montana, including stopping construction on the Keystone.
On November 19th, 2020, you said that if you had it your way, and I quote, you'd stop oil and gas leasing on public lands. As Secretary, you will get to have it your way. Will you recommend extending the leasing moratorium? And how do you justify this moratorium with the requirements of the federal law under the Mineral Leasing Act?
Senator, it's my understanding that it is a pause on just new leases, not existing valid leases. And if I'm confirmed as Secretary, it is President Biden's agenda, not my own agenda, that I would be moving forward.
All right, if confirmed, she'll be the first Native American cabinet secretary in history. And a Senate hearing to confirm Attorney General nominee Merrick Garland stretches into its second day. The Judiciary Committee will hear testimony from outside witnesses and is expected to vote on his nomination next month. Garland said the investigation into the January 6 Capitol riots will be a massive job and his top priority. He also pushed back on the idea of defunding the police. Boeing's 777 planes are under investigation right now, but it is possible you may still book a flight on one. Over the weekend, an engine from a United flight broke apart over Colorado and forced an emergency landing. The engine on that plane was made by Pratt & Whitney. United has other 777 planes in the fleet with engines made by GE. Those planes are not under investigation. American Airlines also uses Boeing 777 planes with engines made by both GE and Rolls-Royce. In Butte, ground samples from Butte's schoolyards and playgrounds will be collected to determine if lead, arsenic, and mercury are in the soil. It's a joint effort by the city and Atlantic Richfield. The mission is to make sure children playing in the area are safe And the collection program is a collaboration with Residential Metals Abatements Program that established in the Butte Superfund cleanup. Well, today, Seeley Lake voters will decide the fate of a multi-million-dollar bond issue to pay for the town's ongoing water quality issues. Studies show additional nitrate contamination of the groundwater directly tied to septic systems in the heart of town. And now the surface water of the lake and downstream are starting to get impacted. Officials say a $4.9 million bond could help fix the issue with a treatment plant. It would also cost taxpayers roughly $25 a month. The community did already secure $17 million in loans and grants for other parts of that project. Montana lawmakers are rushing to meet a first major deadline of the 67th session. Any bill that doesn't appropriate money or affect revenue must pass through the first chamber by March 3rd or it dies. Monday brought one of the busiest days of the year with hearings on 20 different bills, and lawmakers are asked to keep their remarks short. But one issue still took up a lot of time, a hearing on that bill to prohibit gender reassignment surgery for those under the age of 18.
We don't believe that it's right to do irreversible surgeries or procedures on minors.
The incentive to litigate makes it professionally unsafe for us to do medically necessary surgeries in Montana, surgeries which have nothing to do with gender identity.
All right, in the end, the bill passed onto the floor with an 11-8 vote. Jefferson County is implementing their own mask mandate. Health officials say they believe protective measures like masks are needed, especially until vulnerable people are vaccinated against COVID-19. But health officials also say they'll keep reviewing new case numbers and vaccination data to decide whether to continue with that mandate. There was no mask mandate in Jefferson County before. However, when Governor Greg Gianforte lifted the statewide mandate early this month, businesses could decide whether they wanted to require masks. All right, we do have more ahead on today's new news, including an update on a young bald eagle found barely alive in eastern Montana. We're checking in on its recovery. And of course, Miller is back in with a look at that statewide weather forecast.